Welcome to the She Built This podcast. In this 6-part mini-series, entitled Wellness is Not the Goal, I will explore the 3 main issues I see time and again with women as they look to make changes to their health and well-being in midlife. The confusion around what to action, the misunderstanding about their body, and the constant juggling of nutrition advice, but also the bigger picture of what this actually is looking to achieve. Is wellness it? Are we just supposed to be well? Or is readiness the real goal? Ready for action, for life, for adventure? Come with me as we explore this topic in detail. Welcome to the second episode in this mini-series of 6. Today, I want to talk to you about how to train like an athlete, even if you're not. Now, that might sound like a bit of a stretch, and you might be sitting there going, Sam, listen, I am not an athlete. Well, let me give you a fundamental reframe on this. And it's one of the things I use with my clients all the time. And that is to have this shift from, okay, well, I'm just someone who exercises, to you're an athlete. Because guess what? If you exercise on purpose, then you are an athlete. And if you want to go and look up the definition of athlete, it really is pretty wide. It doesn't mean that you have to compete. It doesn't mean that you have to be particularly proficient. It just means that you're continually attempting to improve at a sport, at an activity. And that is what you're trying to do. So when you kind of take this massive shift from somebody who just goes to the gym to now I'm actually an athlete, and you don't have to go around announcing it to everybody, pop a post up on Facebook about how you are now an athlete, but just start to think. It comes back to really, I labor about this book all the time, and it's not the only book on self-development at all, but it is fundamental in the Atomic Habits, James Clear book, where we look at you're not trying to become you're not running a marathon, you're trying to become a runner. And so when you think of yourself like a runner, and when you think of yourself like an athlete, you start to make decisions from that place, from the person who is an athlete. Because if you're a person who goes to the gym, then, missing the odd session isn't going to make any difference. If you're an athlete, missing the odd session becomes a bit strange because you're an athlete. And by proxy, if you're an athlete, then you're a person who goes to the gym regularly and puts that as a priority in their schedule. If you're an athlete, then you eat to fuel your body, and you eat well because you enjoy having a body that works really well and that can be and do all the things that you want it to do. And you stop treating it like, a negative, like having to, I've got to make sure I get my, my fiber, and I've got to make sure I get my protein in. No, you need to fuel your body. And when you start thinking about eating for fuel and training for performance, even if that performance is life, like even if the performance that you're looking to be proficient in is having an absolutely freaking amazing life where you are well and able to go on active holidays and able to get on the floor and play with your children or grandchildren, able to still climb trees, able to dig in the garden, able to, even cope with a long flight, cope with, the demands on the body that are part of living a really big and important life. And so when we start to look at that, it then changes the whole landscape of how you view what you're doing. And so what does that mean in real time? What does it actually mean on your day-to-day basis? So the shift that you have when you think, okay, I'm actually an athlete, is around, okay, so what does an athlete do with their food? Do they wing it? Or do they make sure that they've got a big shop in, that the food prep has been done, that they have some basic sources of protein that they can pull together? Are they thinking about, okay, am I hitting the things that I need so that I have all the energy I need to train? Or are they just going, oh, well, I'll just see what's in the cupboard when I get back? So I know it's a big ask, But when it starts to become what we want it to become is automatic. And the only way it's going to become automatic is if you really put that work in to start creating a new identity, because the subconscious mind is constantly working in the background. And if you have not embodied this identity of the person who you are going to become, then you're constantly fighting this routine. Oh, it feels heavy. It's just another job to do. It's not when it's who you are, because you're making a choice already. And I know that's Meanie Sam has come to the forefront, but you are making a choice currently. And the choice that you're making is putting you in the position that you are currently in. So you get to make a different choice. And that's where the embodied belief engine, which is what I teach inside Sampira, is around this idea that you are embodying the new identity of the person that you are going to become. Because this isn't about just a surface level stuff. This is about becoming the person that you actually want to become. So what else? You might schedule training sessions in, for example, or at least have a vague idea of when they're going to get done. So for example, I kind of go, okay, so for me at the moment, going first thing in the morning really works. And when I look ahead at my week, if I'm in London one day, am I able to get that training session in? Probably not. So I need to make sure that the other days I'm able to get the 4 sessions in that I want to get in that week. And I can plan them in because I've got 7 days. I've only got 4 sessions. That gives me 3 days to not be able to do them and still be able to get it in. Look at your daily habits. What habits would an athlete take on board? Would they have their drink with them all the time? You've seen these athletes, right? And I adore watching them. I'm not like them. I'm not that extreme, but I adore watching them turn up with their Tupperware dishes, and they've got everything laid out, and they've got their oats ready for when they finish training. I don't take it that far, but I do bring on that element of I am important. Firstly, I am a project, and I am making a choice. And the choice that I'm making is to be like this. So come back to what daily actions can you take that will shift your mindset into that of an athlete's, as opposed to somebody who just goes to the gym and just, does a bit of training. And that's not to say that you need to make this your identity. Your identity doesn't have to be that of an athlete, because what we worked on in the first episode was talking around who are you, what do you want to become, what is it that you want at the end of this, as opposed to what are the specific steps that you need to take. This is not what it's about, because once you can understand the identity of the thing that you want to take on, then the steps are inevitable.